Hello, welcome to another lesson. In the last lesson, we learned conditionals and loops. In this lesson, we'll be learning functions. What are functions? Functions let you organize your code into reusable blocks. Instead of repeating the same code over and over, you write it once in a function and call it whenever you need it. That is the beauty of functions. So let's dive in and see how it works. The first thing we're going to do is to create our first function. And to do that, we're going to create a file. We can call the file functions underscore intro.sh. So to do that, we're going to come here, type touch, then functions underscore intro.sh. And now you can see the file here. After that, we are going to type in our code, and this is what our code looks like. If you look at the code very well, this first line is our shebang, and that tells the Linux system that we are writing bash. And next, we create function called greet with parentheses and curly braces. Inside the function, we echo hello from a function, and functions make code reusable. After the function, we echo before calling function, then we call the greet function that we created earlier. Then after that, we echo after calling function, and then we call the greet function again. Do not forget, I mentioned that functions are reusable. So anytime I call the function, whatsoever I added inside the function is what would run at that instance. So to run the code, we are going to save using Ctrl S. After that, we are going to make the file executable by typing change mode +X, then the name of the file. You hit enter. Then after that, you're going to run the code, and then we're going to add the name of the file and run it. And now you can see that we are having, before calling a function, hello function, and functions make code reusable. And also we are echoing after calling function. And after that, we have hello again, functions make code reusable. And that is what we are doing here. This is the function we are calling. And at this point, we are echoing before calling function. Then we call the function. You can see that here. And also we echo after calling the function here. And after that, we call the function again. And you can see that we can see after calling the function here. And also when we call the function where we called greet, you can see that we are having hello from a function, and functions make code reusable again. The function we just created now is the one without parameter. Now let's try to consider functions with parameters. To do that, we can clear our screen first. The next thing we want to do is to write our code. So we can just write our code inside here. And here is our code. The first line is shebang as usual. After that, we are creating a function and we are naming it scan port. And you can see that we are setting our IP to be $1, port to be $2. And after that, we are echoing scanning IP on ports, which means that we are getting our IP dynamically and we are getting our port number dynamically. And after that, we are running a netcard command here. And that is what is going to check the ports for us. We closed our function here, and here we are calling our function. You can see that we are calling the function with our loopback address and on port 22. Also with our loopback address or the local host address, anyone. And you are seeing that we are doing that on port 80 here and here on port 443. And we can run this. The moment we run this, if we have any port opened, the function is going to scan that port and give us the output. But if it is filtered or closed, we might not be able to get an output. So what we need to do is to save our code, then make this executable by typing change mode this. After that, we can run the code, and we're going to use /function underscore params.sh. And now you can see that we have our port 22 closed because we didn't get any output from that. But for port 80, you can see that here we got a response. Our port 80 is open, and port 443, that seems close too. In summary, what the code does is that it creates a reusable port scanning function and scans 3 different ports on localhost. And the ports are port 22, port 80, and port 443. Next, let's consider functions with return values. And this means that functions can return exit codes, and I'm going to show you how that is done. We can come here and clear our terminal. After that, we can create a new file, name it functions underscore return.sh. Then we can come here to open the file. And after that, we can write in our code in there. And here is our code. So the first line is the shebang as usual. Then here we are creating a function called check root. And you can see that the function is checking if user ID equals 0. And if it is equals to 0, it returns 0. Otherwise, that is else, it returns 1. And after the function here, we are calling the check root function here. We are checking the $question mark to see the result. And if the result is equals to 0, then we are going to echo you are root, else we are going to echo you are not root. So let's try to run this script and see what it looks like. So I'll first save, then come here to make it executable. And after we are done that, then we can run the code. And now you can see that it's saying you are not root. And what that means is that my user ID is not 0. So because if you look here, you can see that it is when my user ID is not 0, that is when I'm returning 1. And if my user ID is not 0 as well, then that is where I'm echoing you are not root. Now that we have the foundational knowledge, let's now write a practical reconnaissance script using the knowledge we've gained. To do that, the first thing we are going to do is to create a file called recon.sh. Then we can come here to open the file. And after we had opened that, we can clear our terminal. Then after that, we're going to type in our code. The code is very easy, and this is what it looks like. All the codes or the scripts I've written in this video is already added to the description. Just check the description. You're going to see the link that redirects you to the file containing the scripts. So the first thing we are doing here is that we are designing a banner, right? So we are creating a function, and what it does is that it's just going to design a banner for us. So we are echoing equals to all here. Here we are displaying system reconnaissance tool, and after that we are echoing this as well. After that we are echoing this too. Then we close our function here. And here we created another function named get system info. And this is what we want to use to get our system info. Here we are echoing system information. And here we want to echo the host name. So we got the host name dynamically. Host name is a default keyword in Linux. So it's just going to fetch the respective value for me. And also I'm using uname here. The uname is going to give me the kernel information. It's just like short detail or information about my Linux operating system. And then I'm getting the uptime as well. After that, we are creating another function named get network info. And inside that we are displaying this, which is network information. Also, we are echoing or displaying IP addresses. And after that, we are trying to get the IP address using this. We close the function here. Then we are creating another function, and this one is for user information. We are displaying user information here, and we are trying to get the current user using the who am I. Also, we are getting the user ID. And after that, we are echoing this, which is logged in user, and we are using the who command to get the information. Then we are echoing this, and at the end of that, we are closing the function also. And after we are done creating all the functions, we are here calling all the functions, which are show banner. This one will show the banner to us, and the get system info would echo the host name, kernel, and uptime. The get network info would show us the IP addresses using the IP command with grep and awk. And the get user info would display the current user, user ID, and who is logged in. And at the end of it, we are displaying another banner. So let's try to save this script and then come here to make it executable. And after that, we can run the script using this. And now you can see the results. Let me bring this up so that you can see it very well. So from the beginning, this is our first banner. And you can see a kind of subheading here indicating that this one is for our system information. So for system information, host name is Kali, our kernel details. So this is that. And for uptime, you can see that I've been up for like 35 minutes. Also, after that, we come to the network information section. And these are my IP addresses. Then after that, user information section, and you can see my current user is Kali, user ID is 1000, and logged in user, you can see that it's just Kali, 60, and then the date and time. And at the end of everything, we are displaying the last banner that we created here. So that's all we are doing with the reconnaissance script that we just created. Now, what if we want to create an interactive menu system using our bash? What we can do is to first clear this, and then we can create a file, name menu.sh. We can open that here. And after that, we can write our script inside the file. So let me drag this down. And here is our script. The script will be added to the description as I mentioned earlier. And here, this is our shebang. So the first function we are creating here is just to display some information. You can see that we are creating a banner here, writing security tools menu. Then we are displaying the first one to be system info, second one to be network info, number 3 to be port scan, and number 4 to be exit. Then after that, we are creating another function named system info. And inside that, we are getting our host name and then getting the username using the whoami command. After that, we are getting the network info and we are using our IP address command with the help of grep and awk to get the number of IP addresses that we have. Then we are creating another function here called port scan. And inside that, we are displaying enter IP to scan. And we are now collecting the IP from the user directly. So that is why we are using the read keyword here or the read command here. Then after that, we are using a for loop here that says we are getting each port inside port 22, port 80, and port 443. So it's going to select them one after the other. And after that, we are doing something. That is the essence of the do. And what we want to do is to run the netcard command to do the port scan. And once we are done, we end it with done. Also, we have a while loop here, and we are saying that while true, then what do we want to do? We want to show the menu, we want to echo the options, and we want to read the choice. And here we are building a case for our menu. And here we are using SAC to terminate. It's just like a delimiter that we can use to terminate a case statement. So it's just like you are spelling a case backward. You can see ESAC. So once this particular block is done running, we are going to use this to terminate it. And then we are echoing this and then we are ending everything with done. So that is our script. So we can try to save that and then try to run it here. To run, we are going to first make the file executable by running change mode. Then after that, we can try to run our script. And now it is asking me to choose an option. So if I choose one will get me the system info. If I choose two will get me the network info. If I choose three will do the port scan. If I choose four would exit. So if I should type in one and I hit enter, you can see that it has gotten me the system info. And you can see that here. Also, it is asking for another one. So let's say I want to choose two. Now you can see that it has done what the option 2 is doing, which is the network info. After that, I can choose 3. And now it is asking me to type in the IP address to scan. So I can type in 127.0.0.1 and then it's going to run the scan for me. So after that, I can choose 4 to exit. And you can see that it says goodbye. And that is pretty much what we are doing here. So if I should select anything outside these 4 numbers, then invalid option would be displayed. For instance, if I should try and run this again and I'm writing 5, you can see that I'm having invalid option. You can see that here. And before we go, I have a challenge question for you, and that is, what is the difference between return and echo in a function? I'll come again. What is the difference between return and echo in a function? I would like to see the answer to that question in the comments. That's all for this lesson. If you're here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that now. Also, do not forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.